And we're live.
Oh, we're live! Oh my God! There's not even a countdown. I hate StreamYard. Damn it.
We can include a countdown, though, I think.
Oh, we can?
Yeah, let's try that
That'd
next
be
time.
awesome. I mean, we always did this, and now it's like,
Yeah,
what happened? Oh my
instantly
God.
online.
And I really got to take it back. We love StreamYard. So as you can tell, we've moved from BeLive to StreamYard, and we love it. Because when you can see this on Facebook, on YouTube, on Izzy's Twitter, on my Facebook page, wherever, this is StreamYard. So we're in love with StreamYard, and also and we can also do some cool stuff. We can promote your comments right in here, which is awesome. So feel free to comment wherever you're watching. Let us know you're watching. We will zoom it in right here.
Cheers to Friday. Drinking? I'm drinking Glucksbier.
Glucksbier, right?
Isn't it pretty? It's very pretty. It's from Berlin.
It's from Berlin. Oh, nice.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking the German answer to Prosecco. I actually wanted to drink champagne, but I didn't want to come off as too bourgeois.
Too bougie.
Too bougie. Oh, that's a word.
Yeah, it's a word.
Oh, I love it because I actually learned bourgeois, and I really was like really looking forward to using it. So I came up with the story of me wanting to drink champagne, not going to do it, so I can finally use that word, and now it's even better. It's bougie. Yeah,
bougie.
Bougie. So this is the German answer to Prosecco. Genau, Fritz Müller heißt der, genau. Prost.
Nice. Prost. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, and this week would actually call for some champagne because it was an amazing week. It was an awesome week. On our levels, obviously, we had SMX Munich. We're going to talk extensively about this today. This is for sure. But also, we had the 5.1 version of the Right Suite launching and our new A/B testing feature.
Yes.
Did you include it in the slides?
No, I forgot.
No, you did.
I made a big mental note to make sure you include the new feature and the new release in your slides, and then I forgot.
Damn it. So, by the way, I'm just
we'll talk about it soon.
So Hans is saying cheers.
Cheers, Hans.
If your German is getting better, I definitely got to give you the recommendation to listen to Hans and his wife, who are doing a new podcast, an SEO podcast in German called SEO Date, SEO-Date.com.
I love that.
Cool podcast. Yeah, but it's heavy German. Can be something to practice a little bit German. And also we got Judas listening in and saying, Prost, Judas.
Prost.
Awesome.
Cheers. Wow. I'm going to finish my beer.
No, don't. We still got a lot to cover.
A lot of content.
Don't get wasted now. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, I mean, you didn't put it in the slide, so maybe we just put it up front. So we have launched version 5.1 of the Right Suite. This is really awesome. We launched a couple of new features, including the amazing A/B testing tool. This is something we had in beta for a couple of weeks now. We have really amazing feedback from the beta testers. So we were really excited to finally launch it to the public and really encourage everyone to try it out. That's just it. Optimize your CTRs. Not just for SEO. I mean, obviously a better CTR will help, getting your result bubble to the top, but you can make more out of what you already have. So who wouldn't want to do it? And I think the A/B testing tool is really quite nice. Have you played around with it much?
Yes, I've actually been rolling out a lot of tests recently because the release of this feature lit a fire under my ass to do more testing, because you're doing this all the time, right? You're changing snippets, you're doing this, and I'm like, oh, I have other things to do. Whereas actually it's so important that we do these tests and these optimizations. We see what works, what doesn't on our own wiki and magazine. So I'm really happy to have this feature now, because I can just change something on a set of pages, set up the test in 5 minutes, and then wait and see after some time to see what's going on. I do have some examples, so maybe afterwards, if we have time, I can run through it. Oh, yes, yeah. I am. Yeah, Kate knows. She has to attend the SEO meetings and the marketing meetings and hear all about my A/B tests and how ecstatic I am about this. And I'm doing such minor things, but it's so interesting to see like applying small changes to the snippet, to the title. And yeah, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, and so often SEOs just trust their gut. I have 20 years of experience. I can trust my gut. No, you should always. Oftentimes, you're just not the target audience, right? And there may be, it really pays to test different triggers how you can
of course
the audience. So yeah, definitely. And we got Bastian listening in. Awesome. StreamYard is great indeed. Bros, you too.
Prost. Hey, Bastian.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we also want to talk about Bastian, actually, who also
let's talk about him. Yeah,
with a great presentation. But I think you whipped up a couple of slides, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen.
Awesome.
Now we're going to have 3 times 3 or 2 of a kind on the screen.
But I love it, like the StreamYard thing before was like, you remember when we were doing this on Me Live, we would always do the little shuffle. Going away, is he going away? The slides coming in, is he coming in, me coming in? So we could shuffle it around, and now it's boom, and it's even bigger. So I love it that we can finally work much better with a presentation.
Definitely. Yes, and so to all of you who are new, lol. For those of you who are new, it's Leah. Hey, Leah. Always so happy to see Leah in there. Yes, but if you're new to 3 or 2 of a kind, here are the housekeeping rules. Get comfy, get a drink, enjoy some SEO news and some exciting catch-ups from the week, and then just feel redirected from work to the weekend. Aren't those nice housekeeping rules?
Awesome, and I love the little emoji game you got going.
The blobs, yes.
The blobs. You didn't create those, right? Those were readily.
No, these are actually Android emojis from years ago. Yeah.
Never used Android, so yeah.
Let's not talk about that right now.
Yeah,
Marcus. Yes. And today, a big topic that we're going to discuss is SMX Munich. I mean, we're going to go through the talks that you have seen. Please make regex possible for the A/B test +1. It is possible.
It is possible, yeah. It should be possible. If it's not possible, yeah.
Use segments to create, your tests and your control groups, and it's possible there.
So we actually had this, what do you call it in English? I think that's a fake door. So we had that fake door of offering regex within the filter.
Yes.
So fake door, meaning that you can actually can't do it right now, but we actually...
Are we allowed to tell this?
Oh, we're not?
I don't know. I just asked you.
I don't know. You're my boss, so I don't know. I gotta ask you, right? So I'm just gonna tell it. I mean, I've said it anyway, right? So because I want to encourage him to click it, because actually, so we tracked the number of clicks on people actually wanting to do it with regex, and I think this was actually successful. That's why we set it up. So at least this is what I'm thinking. So yeah, we should definitely talk. But this is how we started it out, actually testing it out if people actually would like to be able to use regex in there.
I have very strong opinions about regex because I have the impression that most people think they know how to use it, but they don't actually know. And then they get really excited about wanting the feature. I'm not saying Hans doesn't know regex. Like, I'm sure he does. And you.
It's a fake door. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah, and actually, I'm just the same. I'm the same with regex. I whip up some regex, and then I'm like, why doesn't it work? And then I look it up, and it's like, oh damn it, I forgot this.
I've spent days trying to figure out the best expressions, and got nowhere.
Well, happens to the best.
But then I feel like an expert when I have like my pipes. That's it. I can just use or. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about SMX Munich today. I think the recordings will be out in a couple of weeks. If you didn't get a chance to attend, I'm sure it's still possible to register and get access to the recordings, and you definitely should, because it was fantastic. Like, unfortunately, I had to miss quite a lot of sessions because I had so many meetings scheduled. I don't know why. But luckily, Marcus attended. He wrote a lot of notes.
Absolutely. I actually, I was aware that it's always hard, like with an online conference, especially an all-day online conference. So not like what it's now like very usual, like having like these 2-3 hour kind of virtual events kind of things. And they were doing like the full agenda, multiple tracks along the whole day, which is obviously quite hard to do online, especially while doing this on your work laptop.
Yeah.
So emails coming in, it's just gonna answer this real quick, and then it's like, oh, I totally, what is he talking about? I can't follow anymore. So I'm just gonna watch the recording, which I will never do. So this is like the normal stuff. So what I did, I was actually pulling like projecting it to my silver screen. Oh, there it is. Thank you very much.
I forgot to remove the link.
I mean, like, you get this on stage, right? Becky was saying, like, oh, sit there real quick. This is like the best photo op. I mean, like, obviously I was sitting on the couch watching it. But it was like just better for the photo op. This is Becky's for me. So I put it on the silver screen to actually be non-distracted. So I just had my awesome remarkable pad in front of me and just like scribbling notes. And so that worked quite well for me, although there was also a couple of calls I had to take, so which I probably wouldn't have done if I would have been there. But I'm quite happy that I saw a lot, and I'm really happy I saw a lot because it was phenomenal. Like, seriously, this is really what really makes SMX Munich stand out from most of the other conferences. The content was just top notch.
Yes,
this top notch content. I learned a lot. Virtually met a couple of really interesting new people that I've been following, but never really like heard them live, and it was like totally amazed. And so much good stuff. So this was definitely worth the money. This can definitely be said. I mean, like, obviously it's a different experience with just being virtual, because this is actually what I was telling the Becky, that, like, despite being there like for the full 2 days and watching a lot of the talks, I didn't meet anyone, right? I mean, like seriously, I didn't talk to anyone. I mean, like, besides Tobias Fox and obviously Kevin when we were on stage together, right? And a couple of comments I put in while watching you or other people, right? But this was like the most interaction I had with other people, and this is definitely what is like what really makes SMX stand out normally, that you would really have like all of Germany there, not just all of Germany, but like really like good people from all of Europe, and
the US as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also, and you would, just talk in the hallways with so many different people, and this is just totally missing. I mean, obviously I didn't try out there was also
the
like
networking,
the networking kind of thing, but this was just due to the fact that it's like really, like, now with the breaks, they were like really short, right? At SMX Munich, normally you would have like half an hour breaks. Now it was like 5 minutes breaks, and I just had like a bio break or get a coffee or stuff like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The networking, because I wanted to catch the next talk. So I think this is still something that people need to work on. And I think what actually we did, and what Bits and Pretzels, the Bits and Pretzel guys are doing, this chat roulette kind of thing. What is it called? Mitrella. I think this is a nice thing to have within a conference, that you would actually, match up with some random people. And this is exactly what I love about SMX, like meeting random people, right? Meeting people I've never met before, just talking with them over the hallway. And so something like this would definitely be something pretty cool. Moin, Christopher.
Servus.
Servus.
This Mitrella thing, this chat roulette thing, I think is a really cool idea. I don't know how shy I would feel when doing it, but I guess in the first 10 seconds it's a bit like, hi, I'm Izzy, how are you doing? A bit awkward, but then it's all good. And it's only like 3 minutes or something, right?
Absolutely. And it's the same for the other person as well, right? I mean, I did this with our company, I did this with Bits and Pretzels a couple of times, and it was just fun, who would you end up with, right? And actually, when I did this with Bits and Pretzels, there was a guy from Munich who's like 500 meters like on the street, right? And it's like, what? Right? I mean, like, I was thinking about like somebody from the US, Australia, whatever, and it's like, well, really, we could have just met. Of course, we can't right now, but obviously. So this is definitely missing. But regarding the content, and obviously it's also much cheaper, the ticket. I think it was definitely worth every single buck. I think that's for sure. This is how it looked last year. Holy shit, right? We were all thinking
last August or last September. Yeah, we had like the sort of hybrid event that I was reminiscing on, especially because Search Engine Journal or Barry Schwartz did a post about this because of how like crazy it was that there was an in-person event and SMX made it happen.
Yeah,
of course, it's not possible at all at the moment, which is very sad. But yeah, this was lovely.
Yeah, and you see us here with obviously with our friends of Peak Ace. Obviously one of the best agencies in Munich, in
Munich,
Germany. Probably not even Germany,
in the world,
all of Europe, but also in the world. Thank you. And they actually, I don't know if you know that, I think they turn 10 next week, next Tuesday. I think they have their 10th anniversary because they are going to have a 10th anniversary show. You know, Bastian is doing the show with Dominique, the head of SEO at PK's, Dominique Seppelt. They have a show together, and actually next Tuesday, also Bastian, help me if you're still listening, they're going to have a Jubiläums show for the 10th anniversary. Because he was inviting me, but I actually, as you can tell, I actually have a barber appointment with my son. Also, we have the same barber. Barber.
Haircutter.
So, but I definitely try to glide in. Maybe while I'm still at the barber shop.
Look at how much better our hair looks in these photos, and
yeah, I actually don't care. I was like,
I don't care.
I normally, like last time, you might remember that my son was actually like shaving
your head.
Not like shaving, but like maybe very, very short. But Becky intervened that I don't do it another time. So we're going to the barber shop together.
Nice.
Yeah, and Bastian is saying also I guess I was correct with announcing it for next Tuesday. So definitely make sure to tune into their show next Tuesday and celebrate 10 years of Peak Ace. That's fine. You just need to join another time. No, I have to do it from when I'm just getting my hair cut, something like this.
I guess as a speaker, like I was a speaker or a guest on the Peak Ace show a few weeks ago, and of course it was a lot of fun, like chatting with Dominique and Bastian. Just such smart guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, shall we spill the tea first before we go into some SMX learnings very quickly? Go through the news.
We have some news. Yeah, obviously. Good point. Let's spill the tea. Let's spill the tea.
So one article I had to mention this week was from the great Bill Slavsky. We mention him quite a lot because we're such big fangirls of him. So he is like the owner of analyzing Google patterns, of returning like his information, his learnings from those patterns and sort of translating them for us. And he's done something a little bit different. So he's kind of like summarized all of his learnings on Semantic Seo and then used that to like link out to all the deeper guides. So a great summary of such a crucial topic, Semantic Seo, that is really like its own thing. So it's a really good place to start if you want to wrap your head around this. Definitely recommend it.
I was just saying, is this still his thing? It's always I know he's like always complaining because people talk about LSI, latent semantic indexing and whatever. Like, and he was like, okay, let me put a post like, what is really semantic SEO? But I think from a SEO practitioner kind of side, it's like nothing, like that's really like top of my mind. I actually saw that article as well, and you are totally right. I'm totally a Bill Slavsky fanboy as well. I remember when I met him first. I think this was 2004. My first SAS San Jose, 2004. I just got there like after 19-hour flight, and I just met him in the what's the main entrance? The foyer. Thank you very much. The foyer of the hotel. And I'm like, holy shit, that is Bill Slavsky. Holy shit, right? So that's the oh my god. That was really, really, really cool. Yeah, we're big fanboys here. All right, what else you got?
This was something that you sent me that sounds really important. So I actually quoted from this article that is The government's lawyers saw a Google monopoly coming, but their bosses refused to sue. So to quote, federal investigators were convinced Google's push to take over mobile internet searches was illegal. They had the evidence and urged their bosses to sue. But those politically appointed bosses overruled them. And this is basically going into detail of how there were contracts that stated that Google could be the sole search engine on smartphones. But apparently this was against the law to banish potential competitors, right? This is not an SEO topic, but it's definitely very interesting and juicy. What is going on here, Marcus?
Yeah, this is super interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's really like, it also shows Google's strategy back then, after buying Android from Andy Rubin. And like really their strategy of getting like Google on all those phones, so they make direct contracts with a lot of the providers to be like not just the search engine, but also the only search engine. And in the beginning, they were paying out like, I think 50% revenue share in some instances and stuff like this. So we're like really generous, oh yeah, we're going to give you 50% of revenue share, which actually decreased over time. And I mean, like over time with less and less competitors being available, obviously it makes sense, now you're just getting 15%, 10% revenue share because you just can't go anywhere anymore, right? It's like, what are you going to do? Integrate Bing? We love the guys at Bing. I'm sorry, I just had to do the joke. I'm sorry, but this is the real problem here, right? Like they were already reducing it over time, and this like is a lot of like AdSense, for example, where you also had like in the beginning, I think much higher payouts. Also, when you're a new publisher, you had a higher payout. Then over time, it gets adjusted, and you don't see it anywhere, right? So it really showed a lot of their strategy going into this.
Yes.
This market and becoming this monopoly, which is sort of effectively is. And these leaked files actually show a lot of that the government was actually aware of this. Government was aware of this happening, and yeah, they refused to act. Right? They didn't do anything. I mean, we all know Google is one of the biggest lobbyists in America, probably in a lot of other countries as well. So, I mean, well done, well done, Google lobby team. I don't know, obviously, like exactly how it went, obviously, but I think it's a very interesting article because you see a lot of what's going on in the background, and it's also again like how Google's strategy of really like how can we like
take over
anonymous for mobile search, the real only mobile company.
Yeah, and pretty smart that they created this just before the rise of like smartphone usage as well. So it wasn't as if they did this, in 2015 when it was peaking or it was really strong. It was, 10 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I remember when they bought it from Andy Rubin, people were like, what? They're banning Android?
Why?
What is that? Right? This was like the same when Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. It's like, what? They bought Instagram for $1 billion? What? They bought WhatsApp? That doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, like $1 billion, I would buy it for $1 billion now, right? I mean, like, if I would have $1 billion, obviously I don't, but I'm not so bourgeois, that I'm bougie, like the cool billion, right? No, but I'm just saying they made a steal back then, although everybody was like saying, oh, that's largely overpriced, that doesn't make any sense. But if you see the whole picture, it made a lot of sense. And I mean, look at them now, right? I mean, like this proof, right? They've done it. They basically created this monopoly, and acquiring Android was definitely a key part of this. But I mean, like, not to mention Andy Rubin, the sleazebag, who apparently can't control his hands and was. I mean, yeah. So there was a lot of stuff going on there, which is also not cool. But yeah, whole different story. I guess there. But I mean, like back then everybody was saying that it's insane, but now everybody sees like, oh my God, they really anticipated the future. They really anticipated what's going to happen and what they need to come out on top, come out a winner.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes, so Google is testing displaying cost estimates in local packs. So here is a really cool example that was spotted in the wild. It wasn't entirely clear where this is from, but I'm presuming that it's been extracted from associated web pages where pricing information is available. Google's taking their own assumptions, they're scraping this data, maybe having an aggregate.
You can actually see it. Go back. It actually says it here. It's come through a partnership with HomeWise, a fact-based independent reference for home product installation and service estimates. So they're pulling the data from HomeWise, which I think it's great. For the user, that's great, right? Because you can really see, okay, like an estimate. I also like the granularity of this estimate of really like seeing the labor cost, the material cost.
The material cost.
That's quite nice. It makes it very transparent, especially in some industries, I think, which, vary a lot. It gives you a nice overview in advance before you actually call up someone. And I was actually discussing the same news article in our Clubhouse chat, in our daily dose of SEO. And I was also suggesting this could also be a business idea for Germans, because actually this is only in America, right? HomeWise is only available in America. You can actually try going to the website. You're getting blocked by GoDaddy. You're getting blocked. So I can't even access it. I wanted to see if they have German results as well, but it was really it was blocked. So that's a good point, that Germans can't even access that website. So I was even saying, hey, maybe someone who has a lot of free time at his hands right now could actually build this for Germany, right? It's a useful service. I think it's rather easy actually to get that data because you can aggregate ratings, but also ask for what did you pay, right? And also was it basically worse as a Preis-Leistungs-Verhältnis, the price service whatever Preis-Leistungs-Verhältnis.
I have no idea.
There's probably a word, and I'm just, if somebody can help me in the comments, please. I'm sounding stupid. Nothing new.
Just a price comparison, but
but also something can be expensive, but it can be worth the price because it's really good.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't just label it on price, but also was it worth it, right?
Yes.
So
I understand.
And I think this could be something for German actually to start doing this, actually aggregating this information, getting this information. And you might end up, with Google knocking on your door and saying, hey, we want your data. We want to integrate it right into our GMB results.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in, right? Price performance ratios. Thank you very much, Tobias Schmitz. The price performance ratio. Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you.
So I think this could be a very good business model for Germany. So
good idea.
On 302.
Nice.
I love this poll. 60% of SEOs say SEO is harder than 5 years ago. I think the hardest part about it is really this 5 years ago, because it's how was it 5 years ago? I think 10 years ago is a much better pre-Panda, pre-caffeine, right? These are more really the kind of things where the game shifted, where the game started to change enormously, right?
Yes.
So Teleprost or Nicolas Prost. But 5 years, I don't know, 5 years feels like yesterday, especially during Corona times. And also I couldn't pinpoint exactly what was there 5 years ago, which wasn't there today. But how would you rate it? What would you say? Was it more harder or less hard 5 years ago?
I guess that our knowledge has advanced over those 5 years, and that's why I think it is easier. Yeah, good value.
Servus, Sebastian.
I feel like it's easier because of how much we've advanced in terms of our knowledge. I don't think that in terms of Google's assessment of quality that those things have changed necessarily. But yeah, tools have progressed like ours, resources out there. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, we were still on page org at that time, so this definitely changed. Yeah. So I'm saying it got easier. I'm really saying it got easier, and for a lot of reasons. And most importantly, it's if it's getting harder, in the whole ecosystem, it becomes easier for people that know what they're doing, right? I always like this, and I love when people are saying also, "Oh, SEO is dead." Great, bye-bye. You now can pay for traffic, and I can just get your organic spots, right? And this is it, right? And this is the same discussion as with SEO is dead. If you're saying this, it may be dead for you, but it definitely not dead, right? And this is it. So I think it with the time progressing, and it becomes easier. And also I think in Clubhouse, somebody said it perfectly. Somebody said it actually became easier to rank good content, but it became harder to rank bad content, right? And I think this sums it up perfectly, because back then you could still do like a lot of shenanigans, right? And you could still like get the semi-optimal site, ranking on top. Or again, like with 5 years, like really think like 10 years, 15 years back, we could just throw backlinks at it, right? I mean, like just throw links at it. You could throw links at an empty page, right? Whatever, right? And it would work, at least for a certain amount of time. So I think this is the biggest differentiator. If you have like really, if you have a bad site, a slow site, a bad content, not really keyword focused, like not really good UX, if you really don't care about your users, it becomes increasingly harder to rank, right? But if you have a good site, it works fast, you might not have to do anything besides having like a great information architecture, a great crawlable site. Google understands it really well. This is maybe going to rank all by itself, right? So almost.
And
please, don't give me hate, right? I already see the comment coming in. No, don't give me hate here. But I think it sums it up quite perfectly. It's like it also depends a lot on your site and also how you see this game, yeah.
And of course, like SEO will never die. It evolves, and there are new verticals to be present in. There are new channels. There are new ways of getting organic traffic. But the way that maybe you relied on getting traffic 5 years ago isn't working out so well for you, then your SEO is dead. Like that version of your SEO that concept that you constructed in your mind is dead, but it's not dead.
Absolutely. And Leah is up to steal that traffic. And Nicholas also has a great point. It's easy because all the tools and the data, and that's correct.
Data,
Just think of GSC, right? I mean, I'm always complaining that we don't have, in Google Search Console, you used to have like the exact position 1, 500 searches, this CTR, position 2, 700 searches, this CTR. You could really see where Google was showing you, which is still active in Bing. Go to Webmaster Tools. It's awesome. I love it. But this has been taken away. I hate it. But we get much more data. We don't get that deep anymore, right? So we only get the average values now, but we get much more data, right? Back then, we didn't get 60 months of data, right? We didn't get all that stuff. And I love it, just Google Search Console, how this has evolved and how this really helps, like SEO webmasters to like really do effective SEO. Back then we would have to use like scrape data tools. We had to work with scrape data, right? And now you can really work just with Google Search Console alone to optimize your site. And I think this is something which just wasn't possible 5 years ago. And Izzy's gone. So apparently she's disagreeing with me. And she, I don't know. Izzy. Oh, well. She also left with a presentation. So it kind of makes it hard to talk about it. No, I can just start talking about SMX now. Izzy, are you coming back? Please. Anybody else? Can anybody else still hear me? Okay, let's talk about. Yeah, thank you. So Leah at least can still hear me because she's laughing about me. That's nice. Thank you. So I appreciate it. But at least people listen. So let's talk about SMX. Lots of great stuff. That's for sure. Let's talk about the keynotes first. Obviously, we had Alexander Belin kicking off SMX. He's from About You. I think has the CMO. I think he's a CMO. Or a chief revenue officer. If you don't know About You, it's sort of like a big online shop for dress, also like a dress online shop That also sounds like the wrong word. I'm really like nervous now because Izzi's gone. It's like, yeah, like have a great weekend. Bye. Yeah. So, so this was okay. I think this was like among the keynotes. If I'm gonna rate the keynotes, this was like the one which I as where I didn't pull like so much out of it, but there was a couple of great things in there, and something I want to share with you. And I really love this example. So they were actually trying to calculate a true CPM, right? So you get all these. Obviously like a CPM on your ads on YouTube and stuff like this. And they wanted to calculate their own true CPM of how many people are actually really watching a video. Thank you, you're back again. I was like really like, what?
My laptop just crashed and it was like, and I started crying, but it's all good. So sorry about that. I'm just going to get the slides back.
It's all good. I was just talking about the keynotes. So Alexander Billion, they were actually trying to find this true CPM. And so what they did, like trying to find out if people really watch their YouTube ads. So, with YouTube ads, you can have your ad and after 5 seconds, people can actually skip it. So they had, I think 30% of the people, they didn't skip the ads, but were apparently watching like the whole ad. But they weren't trusting this. They really wanted to find out how many people are really watching those ads, right? Because a lot of times this could also be people, they started on the TV or something like this, and they can't go to the keyboard, and they're like, I'm just going to keep it running, right? Doesn't matter, and I'm just not going to click on it. And so what they did, which is pretty creative, was they created a video, which was basically just a blank black screen. So you would watch that advertisement, which was just a black screen, which would go on for 120 seconds. I mean, like obviously, who would watch just a black screen? It actually looks a little bit like it didn't load or anything, right? But no, they did this on purpose, and after 60 seconds, they were giving people a goodie. So when you really got to that point, and then you got like a code, and obviously this way they could see, how many people were redeeming that code. Hence, they've probably watched the whole video. Although Maria Fischer actually in the chat actually brought up a very good point, because offering that goodie could actually also lead to people telling it to other people, right? I would tell you, hey, Izzi, if you see that ad is like totally black from About You, keep on watching, because after a second you get like a 50% off code. I don't know the exact code that was being used, but obviously people would tell this to other people, so they would also get this goodie, right? So this could have like a monster Verzerrung, as he said in the chat, like a big Verzerrung, a big
impact.
Yeah.
Explosion.
Yeah. Maybe somebody can help me in the chat again. As a Verzerrung, you're skewing with your results by offering this.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a pretty creative idea to do this, and they had quite good success with it, of really like tracking how many people are really watching those YouTube videos. The next keynote obviously was the evening keynote with Rand. Distortion. Thank you. It's so great.
Distortion.
German guy, has lived in Brooklyn for a long time. Big New York guy, and obviously this is always great. Thank you for helping here, Sebastian.
What was the German word?
Verzerrung. Yeah. Hans is late to the party, but thank you too.
That's a good word.
Yeah, that's a good word. Verzerrung, distortion. You can also have a Zerrung, also eine Masse. It could also distort the muscle. No, it's a rip, sort of like.
Okay, yeah.
So the evening keynote was Rand Fishkin, obviously classic Rand, always great to watch. Like obviously what he was talking about, so he was like doing the same thing as our Karl Kratz is always saying, find other Suchsysteme. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, also he was like really like having a plea for, you should really look for other channels besides Google and Facebook, which is oftentimes easier said than done. And I think especially with the examples he was also showing is it's a little bit different in the US, right? So in the US, you will have, even in a small niche, you will have like a podcast, you will have like Twitter accounts, you will have like blogs about it, maybe even like also industry news kind of things, right? And this is just not the same in Germany.
I disagree. Look at how big Clubhouse has been in Germany, even bigger than in the US, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's like another, well, is it really a marketing channel? It is if you're Larry Kim and you're learning how to exploit it, right? But
really,
no.
you getting down that road? Really?
No, not right now.
Right? I mean, like, we're on the same page here, right? Let's reset the room here. Let's reset the room. Okay, this is actually for Barry Schwartz. Barry, if you're listening, this is for you.
Yes.
Yeah, he was pointing this out, and I totally agree. Right, and I've never reset the room in our Clubhouse chat. Never. Yeah, I don't believe it.
So, but there are many different channels in the US. You're right, and you get a lot of startups, a lot of like new trends that are appearing. Yeah,
and I think, especially with the US being much more people, having much more search volume, you know, it also pays off doing, like, also targeting like a smaller niche. You will have still a good sized audience, which you won't have in Germany probably, right? And this is my point here, that you might find like stuff like this, there might be like golden nuggets, but they're like too small to really make a dent, especially if you compare it to what you can do with Facebook, what you can do with Google, right? And I think this is the point. But I think his main point is really, and really, I don't want to, it's really good what he said, because he's also saying you should really look for those channels which don't provide like a clear ROI, where it's like really hard to calculate an ROI, because if the ROI is easy, everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so you need to find this what no one else is doing it. But again, like, we're a software as a service company. We're trying, you know, to sell a tool for people that are, you know, that want to provide a better user experience to their website users and stuff like this. And for us, it is Google, it's Facebook. This is where the most of the people are, right? So,
I mean, yeah, but he made a big point about like always focusing on a lot of like user input, and he says he's like emailing back and forth with a lot of his prospects and his customers, and like, you do that all the time, right? You are like always chatting with our customers and like hearing about what they want to have and what challenges they have. You're like learning and then like channeling that back as well with our user research team and our product team, which is so valuable as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the same thing as he's doing. So he was telling that he's like always, and you probably, if you're registered at SparkToro, you get these emails from him saying, "Hey, Marcus, I want your opinion. Why don't you use SparkToro? This is actually my real email. Just write me back." And I get a lot of emails each and every day, and I also answer all those emails, or sometimes just pick up the phone. We actually had this week. We had somebody asking some stuff on Facebook, and there was like a little discussion going, and so Bianca was like, "Hey, you know, what should we comment there?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you know, how do you want to like put this into, you know, a good comment without you know, also creating lots of comments again from other people that
and digging a hole
again, and getting into this cycle and this Hamsterrad, in this vicious cycle of like always like reacting to some people." So I just picked up the phone, I called him up, right? So I called him up, talked with him for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. And in the end, you know, it was all good, right? He
good.
Really, where I was coming from, I totally understood where he was coming from. And it was so much better than, you know, like commenting back and forth and, you know, and just like talking to each other, and problem solved. So good. So I really like this. I really like when people are like writing me, and I just call them up, and it's like, I know this is going to be an endless back and forth in email, so I'm just going to call you up, talk to you 10 minutes, and you learn so much. You know, you learn so much from listening to this, and also not just our customers, but also prospective customers,
of course,
people that have seen you somewhere, and stuff like this. And it's so valuable to talk directly to people. And I'm just not very social on social media, and I mean, Rand is much better at that, but he has the same attitude as I am, then really like engaging with the people directly. It is so valuable.
I feel like he's getting less active on social though. I don't know if you've noticed that. He also mentioned that he does so many podcast appearances now, and that's a really big lead driver for him, which is, I mean, maybe it's more popular in the US, even though we know Hans has a podcast. SEO-state.com.
I think with him, he was also saying that when he's like posting about SEO, he gets huge engagement, right?
Yeah.
I think why people actually followed him. This is why I also followed him. But you know, I couldn't care less about the cooking pictures and stuff like this, right? Again, I'm like not very into all this. And also like and this is also what he's noticed, right? That it's like you really just get the big engagement if we're really talking about SEO.
Yeah.
And he actually, I think he blogged about it too, because he was like doing some blog posts and they were not going as well as before. But this is also because he changed, you know, like as it's not about SEO, right? And so most people follow him for SEO or have been following him back then because of SEO, and now they're just not interested in the other stuff. And I think this is the bigger problem here.
True. Yeah.
Would be the same with me if I would, you know, talk about SEO anymore.
Yeah, but I think a nice, inspiring keynote, very much just like you said with Carl Kratz's big mission of, you know, don't just focus on Facebook and Google. It is an important message that deserves to be repeated, I think.
Absolutely. And I think SparkToro is a great tool if you really want to find those audiences. Although I haven't used it much, but that's what I hear. So and now it's like, really, what were the best keynotes? And I think it's like really close. And I think for me, the best keynote was actually Robert Seger, which was the first keynote on day 2, and Will Reynolds being number 2. So there's like, also Robert Seger, Will Reynolds, Rand Fishkin, and then Alexander Bellin. This would be my ranking, so to speak, of the keynotes, because I loved Robert Seger's keynote. This was just so inspiring, and I also like the setup, because what he did, I'm going to do the same. This is so fantastic. So he actually had the slide in the background, and a green screen, and so he was like, this was like an on-stage appearance, and I really thought that made a big difference, because he's like also very engaging.
He's very moving around a lot,
right? And I'm just the same, but when I was presenting with Kevin, you know, I'm like in this little video picture down there, like, well, even like being super ecstatic, right? It's still like you're very confined to this small thing. And he was like very present, you know, he was moving around in front of the slides, actually making space, like pointing to something. So I think that this was like where really I saw this and I'm like, oh my God, this is really good, especially for virtual conferences, you know, because it had more this feeling of like really being at a conference, right? Instead of like normal, here's my slides, here's my picture. So this is why I would say Robert Seger was the number 1 keynote. And he's also very inspiring. You know, he's an art historian, so he was like drawing all these parallels.
He was cool.
And how you get creative. He was like actually telling people you need to get out of your comfort zone. So if you have a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning, brainstorming about something creative, you should actually have people drink something, right? I mean, like, we don't need to do this. Maybe we find another way, but great suggestion. And so he was like sharing a lot of these things, and also I was like trying out everything and then himself, you know, not just talking, but just doing. And I think this really stuck with me. He was saying, like, if you want to become a great artist, you're not becoming a great artist because you read many books about art, right? And you know, you're not becoming a great SEO if you read a lot of books about SEO. You become a great SEO because you try out a lot, right? Because you have a lot of experience. It's all about experience. And the same with art. You're just going to do it, right? So I really liked this. He was really, really engaging, really inspiring. You were like,
that's a really important message, because I feel like a lot of SEOs out there feel like they're not good enough simply because they're not writing about what they're doing. Whereas it's like, it's like if you're an operational SEO who gets stuff done and is able to like communicate the needs and challenges of SEO, that is so important. Just because you don't like contribute to search engine land every other week doesn't mean that you're not a good SEO. And it really like, you know, people feel like they have to be a speaker or an author. Of course, it's nice if you want to like share your knowledge with the world. That's nice, but you don't need to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, like, you know, we have many people also at the SEO Oktoberfest G50 Summit who are not speakers, who don't want to speak, right? And Eric Wu, for me, one of the top 3 technical SEOs in the world, right? He's amazing, astonishing, right? He doesn't want to be a speaker, right? You have Robert Hansen. He also is not on a lot of stages, but when he's talking, it's like, oh, please just talk more. You can talk about anything. I'm just like, I'm hanging on your mouth, right? That makes sense in German, in English. could be.
I'm hanging on your every word.
Okay,
is that what you want to say?
Sounds better. This was a little bit creepy what I was saying. Yeah, but he's also a very attractive guy. I'm just, right? He's not a Philip Pluckner, right? But still. So I'm not going to go down this road. Philip is not even listening, so it's cool. No, but this is what I'm saying. Absolutely, you're totally right. Right? You don't necessarily need to be a speaker, a writer, or whatever to be a great SEO, and that's it. But do your own experiences. And then Will Reynolds again was my number 2 keynote, really with a great plea of use data. And what stuck with me there was really the notion of, which they also have on their homepage of SEO Interactive, they don't trust their gut, right? And this is, I think, was a really great point of saying, like you have to come over this, over this hump of saying like, oh, I have 22 years of experience, right? I'm a very experienced SEO, so I have this gut feeling, but oftentimes it's just, it's not the audience, and just look at the data, right? Just look at the data, and we don't trust our gut. Yeah, that's it, right? And I think that's a great tagline of how SEO is actually approaching this game, right? They really want to do decisions, powered by big data. I love it. And you know how Will, is also a great keynote speaker. He's like very much, like in your face, you should do this, right? And so it was really inspiring. I really loved it. Yeah.
Cool. I want to try give a keynote one day.
Oh yeah.
It looks like fun.
By the way, here Bas and Krim said, and they're not testing either, just repeating what they read. And I'm absolutely the same, right? I ask them something, and I will get an answer what I also read on Search Engine Land. And I'm like, yeah, I read that too, but did you know something about this? Have you had the same experience and stuff like this, right? And this is also like you have well-informed SEOs, right? But it's so much more valuable if you also have your own experiences.
Yes,
this is it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. Let's go back some slides. I know, so fun. Okay, I think the first one I started with was from Martin Splitt of Google, who had a really nice live debugging session. All about Core Web Vitals. Like, I love his live debugging sessions. I know it's like terrifying for him beforehand because, if something goes wrong, it doesn't work out, or if his machine is giving him problems, and it's not always so great, but it was definitely kick ass. And I loved this, the slogan he had of like, performance is a process, not just a number. He gave us a lot of testing tools. He ran a lot of optimizations to his like test domain live on the fly for us. So he was like preloading images, he was resizing images, he was like inlining web fonts.
Getting rid of third-party fonts. Yeah, and
getting rid of third-party fonts.
Bastian gave in the comments that is the best practice, because he was saying like there's no best practice there, and Bastian was like no, there's a best practice, don't use third-party fonts. So I just want to repeat this is very good. Yes. And he was also like defining a container min height to avoid CLS issues and stuff like this. I mean, like obviously it was like a very simple example, a very simple site, but I really love this live debugging sessions, which I would never do, not at this, because so much stuff could go wrong. There was actually stuff going wrong there too, right? And it's totally nerve-wracking, especially.
He did fine though.
Yeah, he did totally fine. Yeah, I'm totally amazed that he's doing it, because I always need to prepare like really extensively, before I go on stage, and I would never do like a live thing. But he was doing this so well, and I think it's so valuable because it always like it shows the people like you have like this barrier. I think for a lot of people who are like very like, oh my God, this tool, I'm running Google Lighthouse and it gives me all these suggestions. What do I really do? What does this mean? And he was like, okay, we see this. So I would go in there, I would debug it like this. I go to the performance tab. Oh, you see it here. So, oh, look, the pictures, they're taken straight from my camera. They're huge, right? So I really want to preload those images, right? And just like putting it in there. And I think it helps a lot those SEOs to actually also inspire them to just try it out, also with a small site, but just having this experience of having done it, right? And also getting this feeling of, seeing like a whatever 20% score, then actually preloading an image, and all of a sudden it's like boom, you write like 80, 90, and you're like, oh my God, I did that, right? So I would really like for more people to do that kind of stuff, because this is really this, also es hat, I want to say like the German word, also so, es hat so eine Einstiegsbarriere, so again, like a barrier, and I think he breaks through this barrier, like really, and also being vulnerable in a way of doing this live, right?
Yeah.
Don't care, just do it, make these experiences. And so I think it was awesome. It was definitely awesome.
Yeah, like he's making web performance more accessible to SEOs, and he's making SEO more known to web developers. So I really love his mission in the industry. So thank you, Splitty, for all that you do.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, next up, Tom Anthony, TA.
My number one presentation, hands down, should have been the keynote, should have been the headliner. Wow. You've seen
I
it
didn't
too,
see
right?
it. I didn't watch it.
Oh
I had
my
a
God.
meeting. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. This
I'm so
was
sad.
just, I mean, like obviously Tom Anthony, one of my most favorite speakers, one of my most favorite technical SEOs.
Yeah, he's
in my top 3. He's definitely top 3 as well. He was also the SEO World Champion at SEO Oktoberfest, I think 2018, 2019, I don't remember. So he won our cup as well. And I love this, right? Like, what if imagining an Apple search engine? Because this was something I've never thought about, right? I mean, we all saw the news, right? There was like the news like a couple of months back. It wasn't like far, where there was really like a chatter again about Apple Baby building their own search engine, right? People were talking about this again. I think also John Henshaw had a great article about it. So it got a little bit of speed again in the industry, but I never really think about it, right? I never really thought about it because I'm like more like an opportunist. So if I would see there's a big market and I would like see, okay, how can we use this? But as long as there's nothing, why think about it, right? I don't have that much time. So I really liked to hear his opinion. And it just blew me out of the water. It was like really one of those talks where it's like, really, this is mind blowing, right? So let me tell you. So what he did at front, he was like actually collecting clues on why he actually thinks Apple is building their own search engine.
Yeah,
so obviously we all know that John Giannandrea, the former head of SEO at Google, actually went to Apple. That he's now for AI something, but whatever. I mean, like, this is very important. Definitely. So obviously, if you want to build a search engine, getting the head of SEO at Google is a great move. Then he was like also, which is very interesting because Google is paying Apple, I think, $12 billion a year to be the search engine on iPhones. And by the way, this is actually referring to the Politico article that we had before, right? This is one of those deals, I guess. And this is going to run out, this contract, and it's likely not going to be renewed for various reasons. I think I can't really remember. I'm sorry about this, but so it can't be renewed. So though Apple really has to find an alternative way because this might go away very soon. And then he was taking a closer look at Apple's web index. And actually, this was something when now the chatter was there a couple of months ago. People were also like, oh, will Apple build their own web index? I mean, like, of course. I mean, like, they had the Apple bot since 2015, right? And the Apple web index actually is already live since September 2020. So this is something what Siri already uses it. Siri is already using. So he was throwing up a couple of searches on his iPhone on Siri for Madrid, for SMX Munich, and that kind of stuff, actually looking at the results, what kind of results are shown there. And then he actually pulled it on his desktop. So he was basically trying to reverse engineer their search. So he pulled it on the desktop that he could actually see behind the curtain, basically see the source code, see the JSON feeds in there. And he could actually see something very interesting, which is that they are like sort of like something coming out of the Apple Web Index and something coming out of the Map Index. And so he was drawing this picture of Apple being able to do a federated search. Federated search, sort of like blended results. So results from different indices, right? So you have different indices that are feeding this the search result. And so basically federated search helps to bypass Google's web index advantage, because obviously Google has a big advantage on the web index, right? So Apple is not just going, to build another web index, right? So they are looking for ways to how can they incorporate the strengths of Apple's products to actually build a better search engine. And so again, he came up with this idea of the federated search. So not just having a web index, but also different indices like the map index or whatever, which is also available in Google. It's lots of similarities. Also, obviously, like micro algorithms, like if the master algorithm says, okay, there's going to be a knowledge graph, and then this mini algorithm actually deciding which knowledge graph is going to put in there, It's sort of like the same thing, but he got so much further because so you're not just searching one index, but multiple databases. And I think there could also be this intent index. And for the intent index, you have a great opportunity because you have the apps, right? You have 2.2 million, I think 2.2 million apps within the App Store ecosystem. So if somebody's searching for Madrid, right, you could have different intents. I want to learn Spanish, that would be Duolingo. I would want to book a flight. This is my booking.com, which I already have on my phone. But it gets better. It gets better because this is still something what I could have figured out too. But the Tom Anthony sauce is coming, which again sounds quite disgusting. I'm sorry. But so first of all, federated search is real time, right? Because the web index is slow to update, right? I mean, like we all know this, Google needs to crawl, and it's actually depending on, how fast of a server you have. So it's like really depending on how fast I can get that data from you. So, but federated search is actually in real time, right? And actually, which is the really best thing is federated search also allows a fully authenticated personal search, right? And I'll tell you what that means. And this is like really super interesting because if you're searching for schnitzel, right? So normally you would have like schnitzel recipes and stuff like this. And maybe even, I get like the easy example of you having like the Chef Koch app on your phone, and actually it could like actually request the schnitzel recipe right from from that app. But that's pretty easy. But the great thing, what Apple actually has, and also what Apple has positioned itself as being like super tight on security, personal security, data security, because it's all on the phone. So you had the example of the Google Images. If you're using Google Photos, right, you're uploading them basically to the Google Cloud, and all the calculations of, there's the Golden Gate Bridge on there, there's a laughing dog on this picture. This is actually done within the Google Cloud. With Apple, all this stuff is actually done on your phone, right? And Apple builds their own processors. Even now with MacBooks, I'm just talking to the new M1 MacBook, so I have this new Apple chip, right? They're building their own microchips, right? And to be able to actually to do it all on your phone. And this is actually a big plus, right? So having like the data privacy, like really being sort of like at the basis of your product.
Okay, yeah.
And if I'm now searching on schnitzel, actually what Apple can do, what Google cannot do, is search through my Facebook messages, for example, and see probably not my mom, but maybe like Becky's dad. Becky's dad is Austrian, schnitzel is an Austrian delicacy, right? So maybe her dad, my stepfather, would have sent me a Facebook message with a schnitzel recipe. And this is something which Apple could find, but Google could never, right? Because Google cannot go into the Facebook, into Instagram, or whatever else I'm using on my phone. But Apple could actually do this, and it would still be on my phone, right? So I still don't have these data privacy issues. So I really like this idea. This is something what Apple can do, and this is actually making something what they can do sort of like as a the feature of why they become a better search engine. And now it gets even better, because actually Apple introduced something a while back, and this is app clips. So app clips is sort of like streamed apps, right? So, and this for one exact purpose, right? So you don't have to install the whole app. You would just have an app clip which does one specific thing. So booking a restaurant, if you want to like ride a scooter on the street, like getting that scooter. And now just imagine this being app clips, sort of like in this intent index, right? And then it's sort of like, so he said, so he's arriving in Munich for SMX Munich, obviously not this year, hopefully next year. So he's arriving at the airport or at the central station, because he now lives a little bit outside of Munich. So he would arrive at the central station in Munich, and now he wants to go there. And there he sees the scooter, and he wants to get the scooter. Normally, I would go to my phone, download the app. What is it? Tier or whatever, what these things are called, right?
Yeah.
So Tier, I would download the app. I would make an account, and then, okay, I want to have this one. Okay, thank you very much. And I would drive away. And now imagine this with a federated search engine from Apple. You would actually go there with a scooter. It would actually have this one as an app clip show up. And then I can directly with Apple Pay unlock it. Where Apple Pay, I think I don't have to do an account. It would just build with the Apple Pay. And I don't have to download the app. I don't have to do an account. This is just for now. I want to use it, right? And this is so much better, right? And now, to end it all up, what Apple could do, and I think, and this sentence really stuck with me, while Google is trying to be mobile first, Apple could actually be mobile native, right? So Google is just mobile first, right? It also works on desktop and all that, but Apple this is a mobile native search engine, right? And this could actually be the trigger for why Apple could be a much better search engine in the future, because it's mobile native. And this is something what Google do. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, and he was also proposing that that Apple is just putting it as, but right now you need to swipe right, and then you see the search bar, and they would just put it on the homepage and actually entice people to search for whatever they're searching for. And he was even saying that Siri has actually 400 million active users, I think, a month, right? So a lot of people are actually already using their search, and now making it more prominent, putting into basically on your home screen, and then like really whatever intent I have, right? Whatever, and then having those intent. I love it. I hope it became clear in English. Like,
yes.
His presentation, but I'm like so excited about it, because it was just like really mind blowing. Like really not just like this typical, well, they can just build a web index and la 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 la. No, like really he thought very deeply about what could be their USP, so to speak. And I think this is definitely going to happen exactly like this. He's figured it out. Best presentation at SMX Munich.
This is Apple during the presentation taking all the notes from Tom Anthony.
They were checking off what they're really doing. Oh yeah, he found out that one. Oh, he found out that one too. Oh my God, he did well. Yeah, probably like
Good
this.
job, Tom.
Yeah,
nice.
amazing.
Yeah, I really have to check out this recording.
Yeah, definitely. It's absolutely worth it, and it's definitely better than me telling it. So you can trust me.
I think that was a great summary. We're already over time. No, I tell the truth, Marcus.
No, I know. You're understanding. I know.
We're running out of time, but yes, you also attended.
Best Toronto. I loved it because just really quickly, what I loved about this, I mean, like obviously he was also sharing some stuff like back in the days, how they started doing these webmaster hangouts with Matt Cutts, with Adam Lestwick back then, right? This is how it started. But then what I really loved about this, and this is like a typical John, he gave you these really like what I love, like these really like tidbits of information of how Google really works. And in this case, he was actually talking about indexing tiers, so you have 4 different tiers. This from Gary Ilyish saying something quite similar at a Search of the Record podcast when he was talking about these index tiers and like the first index, which has like sort of like what you need to access really fast, like home pages, news kind of stuff, right? This would be on a SSD storage, while tier 4 is like stuff that's not being requested so frequently, right? This could be on an old-fashioned hard drive because you don't need that information so fast, right? So these are these different indexing tiers, and he actually,
which is really cool. Yeah,
absolutely. And this can also change for your website, because these indexing tiers, they're not without limits, right? I mean, like, obviously you have like an SSD storage, and this has a certain limit, and therefore if you put something into the tier 1, you actually got to take something out of the tier 1 out. I mean, like, obviously you're reacting to search trends, right? Right now everybody's searching for this, but in 2 months nobody's searching for that again. You can put it in another tier and promote something else which people are searching for excessively right now. It makes a lot of sense. And so the interesting thing, though, is like, if you have stuff in indexing tier 4, this is not being used in the calculation for a lot of stuff which uses like for example the number of valid pages or stuff like this.
Okay.
So he could explain why you would see like sudden drops, for example. This could also be, although you didn't do anything, this could be because of the reason that like there was a shift in the indexing tiers of your content within those indexing tiers, and something like going into indexing tier 4 and therefore not being considered for these reports, right? So I thought this was super interesting to hear this from John. Also really, really cool.
But it was in German, which I was really sad about. And also, like, Bastian was in German.
Bastian was also in German. I loved it, not just because I think he had 4 or 5 slides with write on it, which I loved, but also like really like specific use cases. These are the problem I have. This is the tool I'm using.
Yeah.
So I think it's really very, very useful for SEOs, getting like really a much deeper look into his brain, you know, how he works, how he approaches different situations. Like, I really love this. And this is one of the things I definitely want Hannah to see. As our new head of product, Hannah, we're proud to have her on board. I definitely want her to see that talk, because this is so helpful of really like how a good SEO is thinking, the typical problems of SEOs, and how we solve them right now with different tools. So yeah, I definitely can't wait for the recording to get to Hannah, because this was really awesome presentation, although only in German. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can convince him to do it in English again here.
Oh, yes. Yes, please. And yes, from Anna Danza and Jens Foldrath of Get
Also
Traction.
only in German, but also phenomenal presentation. Anna, never seen her before, crushed it. Awesome. This is like really, again, like a typical Jens. It's like, oh man, I'd love to hire her. Yeah, she's so good. And I mean, like, Jens has so many good people, like Patrick Löwe. I'm a big fan of Patrick. There's so many great guys, and also Anna, phenomenal technical SEO, and did a great job in that presentation. And also Jens, like really showing different workflows, how they're doing it. They're doing a lot with KNIME, and really like taking away the fear of actually using KNIME, making it very easy, showing like a clear process. I really liked it. And what I liked also about Jens, he was like really how he's now approaching like with SEO consulting, like really also thinking mobile first. And he does something which I really caught myself. I'm not doing this either. It's like when I'm like auditing a site, I'm pulling it up on my desktop, right? I mean, like, this is it. Normally you should pull it up on your phone first, you know, to really
True, yeah.
Right? And he was like talking about like common things, for example, like the burger menu, right? So before you had like a navigation, with mobile it's in the burger menu, to actually, because in desktop everything is visible, right? And to actually check how many people are actually using the burger menu, because here in the burger menu, and since it's now mobile first, you could actually, you know, be much more selective in what you link out to, and maybe even, you know, how you link out to it regarding the anchor text, right? Because if you know that only 10% are using your burger menu, you can use it very well for, you know, better Durchblutung, better
link equity guidance.
Awesome for your website, right? And also, like, if you can't have the breadcrumb anymore, like best practices here. So this is really like very, very actionable, and also really like got me thinking. It's like, oh, that's actually very creative, because I never thought about this. I always like navigation, put it into the burger menu, done. But if not a lot of people using it, you could actually use it for SEO. I love it, right? So yeah. Way to go, Jens. This is awesome, man.
That's such an important topic.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, cool. And of course, you and Kevin did a great job.
Yeah, but I had one more which I loved, which was John Henry Shirk, which was the first talk on day 2.
Oh yeah, this one. Yes.
So
sorry, I forgot.
I'm following on Twitter. I'm following this guy.
Yeah,
I also thought this was
same.
really great SEO, and now I finally got to see him virtually, but at least I got to see him present something, and it was awesome because, and most importantly, it was 1 o'clock local time. So he's living in LA, so it was 1 o'clock. Would we ever do a conference talk at 1 o'clock?
No,
I wouldn't. Right? I mean, like, seriously, are you kidding me? Really? 1 o'clock? And he totally crushed it, really. As he totally crushed it. You couldn't really see that it was 1 o'clock at his time. And I love, he talked about product-led growth, right? But also about content-led SEO, product-led SEO, also content-led SEO, something like a HubSpot, an Atlassian, like a Shopify, in comparison to a product-led SEO, like a G2, a SlideShare, Indeed. So where people actually, also writing a G2 review, making a presentation, uploading it to SlideShare, posting a job on Indeed. So basically their content, the customer's content using your product actually creates SEO value, so to speak, in regard to content-led SEO, where you would actually create these articles yourself, like HubSpot does increasingly well. I mean, rank everything SEO strategy. I mean, they coined inbound marketing, like obviously they're working for all that stuff. And then he got really deep into like SEO tactics for software as a service company. That's us, right? So obviously I was listening. He was talking about versus pages, alternative pages, category plus software, what is plus category kind of searches, best practices, stuff like this. It was super interesting for me. And especially what I liked about John Henry was, and where I really thought, this is not just really good. This is actually something that I would actually invite this guy to SEO Oktoberfest, because he has a very healthy way, obviously also very lots of experience, but very healthy way of looking at this topic. And what I really liked about it was that he said they're not, in regards to keyword research, they're not working a lot with Ahrefs, SEMrush kind of tools. They are using autosuggest. Autosuggest is like their most important way of keyword research. Obviously, as I just said, versus pages, alternatives, right? This is something you would naturally do better with autosuggest, and it's much better also to react to like trends, emerging trends and stuff like this, while those databases might be a little bit stale. And we could definitely see this as Corona, when Corona hit, right? All of these keyword databases, they didn't even have all those keywords people are now searching for all of a sudden, right? And this is it. So obviously Google Search Console and Google Suggest is much better here, and they're using this very extensively. And I really love this. I mean, like seriously, I really love this. Not like the typical, so you do keyword research, you take this tool, and then it's like, really, okay, this is what I'm doing here. Look at this. So I'm going to target this. Also, I loved it. John Henry Shirk, I'm a fan. And also what I'm a fan of was your co-host, your co-presenter at your talk.
Yeah, Samuel Schmidt.
Shit. I didn't even know this was the guy from Through. So this amazing tool, Through, THRUUU. Awesome tool. And he was like also very, very in detail, having Through and having a couple of articles, the techniques he used to actually really got to where he's now.
A really nice case study. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, really great case study. You obviously great. I don't want to even get into me and Kevin. Obviously, that was fun. But all in all, you can see also being very excited. It was really worth it, right? It was really worth, taking time from the computer, actually actively listening, and also it would have been worth it if I would have paid for it. Right, it would have been worth it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So it was a great experience. Thank you so much. Great organization. To the SMX.
Thank you so to Sandra, Christina, everyone. Yeah, amazing job. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me using the OBS, because as you saw today, my laptop doesn't like me anymore. But oh well, they planned everything.
And that was so great, because you were afraid of that happening.
I was afraid of that happening.
And we were texting about this on Slack, and I'm like, yeah, you'll be fine, don't worry, right? And then it actually happened to you. It's like, oh shit. You got me crazy, because I actually, right before my talk, I practiced it one more and actually recorded it. So if something would happen, I would just have the recording. So
that's a good idea.
Right? But I was like, ooh. and then it really happened to you. But you did a great job with that. Also, definitely am.
It's fine. It's always good when you have a plan B or a plan C as well. Yeah. No, awesome recap. Like I'm really looking forward to getting the recordings, and to everyone at home, there's still time for you to get recordings as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I presume. Yeah.
And watch Tom Anthony. If you go watch something, watch Tom Anthony. He's gonna blow your mind, right? It's awesome. Yeah.
Yay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we had for today. I mean, all we had were 20 minutes over because of how much stuff we had to discuss. No, that's fine. Like,
yeah, and I'm also happy to be able to tell you, since you weren't able to listen to it.
yes.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for recapping. It's like the TLDR. It's the featured snippet worthy summary.
Also, too long didn't read. This is like with Marcus. He speaks too long, can't listen. He's
in depth. He covers the topic.
Thank you very much. You're much too kind. You're so British. This is like
I am British. Yeah.
This is very British of you. I love it. Thank you so much.
I'm a good combination these days of being polite and a bit direct from living in Germany. So I do tell the truth, but I'm a bit polite about it. Yeah.
The perfect combination.
I know. Oh, so modest. I'm the perfect combination. Wow, the snow is crazy.
Oh yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I can't see in my basement. Yeah, I'm. Also if I could look out of the window, I think I would see snow.
It is like white outside, just pure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I heard the kids screaming, so I was thinking that it's probably that case. Yeah, they can't wait always to get outside, and yeah.
So, shall we go into the weekend then?
You got it.
Then, Prost, everyone.
Prost, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitch, Periscope, whatever. Thank you so much. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. Also, thanks for your comments. Thanks for everything. Oh, I got it. I didn't use the banners today. Damn it.
Marcus.
I should have used the banners. Yeah, I can do this. Thank you for joining us. Tune next Friday at 4 p.m. Yeah, we're there again next Friday. We are. And I also have this banner here, right? You guys in the comment. Now you can't do it anymore, but next time I'm going to do it. Yeah. And what do you think about this? Tell us in the comments, right? No, yeah. So again, next Friday would be great to see you again next Friday. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. And yeah, now feel temporarily redirected from work
to the weekend.
That's it. That's us. 302 of a kind. See you next Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye. And
bye.
Happy optimizing.
Yes. Bye.